Welcome again, everyone, to another edition of Trillnomics. I'm your host, John. I'm out here in nature, breathing in that wonderful fresh oxygen, coming to you live, documenting the collapse in real time. Interesting day today, again in the markets. Big swings to the downside in all the indices. We're in correction mode in most of the major indices, and we're in correction territory in the rest of them. For those of you who don't know the technical definition of that, that's a 10% decline off the near highs of all of our markets right now. You guys are getting slaughtered out there if you're in the stock market right now. Financial intelligence right now means get out of the stock market. You guys got to start getting real here soon. This is happening, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop this sell off. Okay, we're trading in tandem with China. Global markets trade in tandem. There's nothing anyone can do to stop that. I think right now it's important for us to focus on and take a look at economics and the global economy. We're focused on the wrong things. Everyone's so worried about this presidential election. There's no candidate out there who can save the economy. Do you think Donald Trump can stop our financial markets from being affected by China and their financial markets? He can't. There's no magical wand that can do that, okay? Bernie Sanders can't do it either. I don't care who you like as a presidential candidate, they can't do anything about it. So it's kind of just trivial. It doesn't really matter. We have to focus on what matters. Okay? There's nothing that's going to stop the sell off going on in China. They've already injected over $1 trillion, or yuan, if you will, Chinese currency, the yuan renminbi, into their markets, and it hasn't done anything. It's going to continue to slide. And we're affected by that. The whole global economy is really just hitting the shitter right now, just to be honest, you guys. I don't know how else to say it. Um, our markets are very affected by this. Every sector that's influenced by China very directly through the industrial complex and the materials, commodities, energy complex is going to get hit hard. They're getting hit hard, and we're going to see a washout in those earnings reports. So just take a look at what's going on. You really think China has a lid on what's going on? They don't. And nobody trusts the data that's coming out of communist China. They fudge the numbers just like the Fed does, just like our Fed does. Okay, we're in a global economic depression, and I strongly believe, and I know in my heart, that we are in a recession right now. Okay, because the economy is collapsing. So if you're the Fed, are you really going to put out data that lets everyone know that we're back in a recession? This is supposed to be an economic recovery, right? But we're not having that. That's not what's going on here. Okay? The economy is collapsing. Global economic demand is collapsing. There's derivatives bombs going off. There's a credit crunch. Okay, there's a credit collapse going on. That's deflationary. And the Fed is not going to give us real data to let us know we're in a recession and a depression. But I mean, at this point, you've got to be an idiot not to see how bad it is in the global economy. Take a look at Caterpillar, the company Caterpillar. All right, Jim Rickards, I'm sorry, Jim Cramer, my personal hero, Jim Cramer, says that the best economic data, the best data for economics worldwide and domestic, comes out of Caterpillar, okay, through their quarterly earnings conference call and everything like that. They have a huge in-house global economic research team that really guides their business. And, you know, they're the worst performing stock in the S&P today. Horrible. Their outlook is horrible. I mean, they just cut 10,000 jobs. They're closing plants. It's bad. I mean, when Caterpillar's doing bad, that's really the sign of the entire global economy just doing bad. It's horrible. And honestly, I would be pissing myself and shitting myself if the largest part of my investment portfolio was not physical precious metals. That's what I'm here to talk to you guys about. Just keeping it trill. I just had to keep it real and be honest with you guys. It's pretty simple, okay? There's not much you can do other than acquire precious metals, physical precious metals. See, there's not much you can do. That's really the only thing you can do, and it's simple to do. So that's what I would recommend. If you're not comfortable putting a large chunk of your money into, a hard asset that's the most undervalued asset in the world right now, just do 10%. Give me 10% at least, because you're going to lose the rest of everything. I mean, if you're in the stock market, if your assets are paper, it's worthless. It's going to be worthless soon. We're going to have hyperinflation soon. Today, Janet Yellen's coming on at 5 o'clock to give like the inflation report. I don't even know what it was called, but it's going to be very dovish. Obviously, they're never going to raise rates. They didn't raise rates again here in September. They're not going to raise in October or December or ever. This is an election year. They're not going to raise in 2016. What are they going to do? Quantitative easing round 4. That's my personal opinion. And we might not even see it being announced, because I personally feel that the Fed is engaged in a round of stealth quantitative easing as we speak. Because again, they're fudging the numbers. They're not being honest with what's going on. Because if the average person, the average individual, you and I, if everyone truly knew what was going on in the economy, there'd be a bank run already. Okay, everyone would have their money out of the bank already. The silver and gold markets would be dried up already. And there's only about 200,000 physical ounces at the comex. That could get wiped out easily. I mean, give me a couple investors that want to get theirs, and the whole thing is cleaned out. Really, the entire global economy is sitting on top of a gold and silver financial fraud. It's fraud. They're naked short selling silver that doesn't physically exist. All you really need to understand is what's going on in the physical gold and silver markets. Okay, there's gold and silver leasing. There's been so much gold and silver leased that it would take 2 years, 100% of the mining capacity for 2 years, just to pay back all the precious metals that have already been leased out into the market. So the supply is really running out. We're just sitting on top of a paper Ponzi scheme in the gold and silver markets. Silver, the silver short positions, these paper shorts, these paper contracts that represent nothing. Okay, there's not real metals that back these contracts. So the silver short position is the largest short position in the history of commodities. If you can understand that, then I think you'll be able to take action immediately and purchase as much physical gold and silver as you could possibly get your hands on. At this point, in terms of the COMEX, in terms of the GLD, in terms of paper gold contracts, there's 200 and I think it was 217 paper contracts for every single physical ounce of gold that they're holding at the COMEX. So we're going to see an eventual COMEX default. This thing is coming down rapidly, guys. Please take heed. Take this warning. Run with it. Do something about it. This is your future. Please stop being complacent. It's not okay. It's not enough to put your head under a rock and go to work and put your money into a 401k every week. That's not going to cut it. Please, I'm here to wake you up and get you alerted to what's actually going on in the global economy right now. It's a depression. It's a recession. It's going to get worse. Don't hate me. Don't be mad at me, please. I'm just the messenger. It's kind of hard for me to make these videos without stepping on a lot of people's toes, because a lot of people are not grasping this and not understanding this right now. And they're watching Fox News, NBC, CNBC, and Bloomberg and not getting the real picture of what's going on right here. But again, like I said, just look at Caterpillar. Just look at what's going on with that. I mean, even especially today, everything's pretty apparent for the people who actually can understand it, and everyone has the ability to understand it. You don't have to be a genius to understand this, because I understand it. You don't have to be a genius to go to your local coin shop and buy some, a couple ounces of physical silver. You don't have to be a genius to order it online. I'm not asking you to open, a TD Ameritrade account. I'm just asking you to get a few ounces of physical precious metal and get your money out of the bank because we've been burned before. I mean, the Great Depression, people didn't get their money out of the bank. They lost it all. That's what's going to happen again. The money that's in your bank account, it's not going to be there at some point. Overnight, it's going to be taken out. We're going to have bank bail-ins. A bailout is when a central bank prints the money and hands it out. A bail-in is where the bank takes your money. Now, bail-ins, this bail-in regime is written into all the language in all the major banks. I know for sure TD has it, Citibank has it, Deutsche Bank has it. I know none of us are using Deutsche Bank here in America, but it's in every major banking institution has this bail-in language written into their contracts. Nobody's reading the fine print. I know I'm not, but I know this stuff to be a fact. I don't keep my money in the bank. There's already been bailouts in Cyprus, and like I said, humankind has already been burned by this before in the Great Depression, and it's going to happen again. So just take some time, think about it. If you're in the stock market, you know, you're getting slaughtered right now. You're just not doing the research necessary. You're not doing your due diligence. And this is for the every man. This is for every man and woman in middle class America and anyone that has ears and a brain stem to hear what I'm saying. Okay, this is for you guys. Not hard to understand. Take your cash out of the bank, hold a small cash position under your mattress for deflation because we're hitting some serious deflation, which is going to lead us into hyperinflation, which you should absolutely have some precious physical metals to protect yourself with for that scenario. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you. I'm just the messenger. Do some of your own research. Don't take my word for it. Peace.